to admit I'm not schooled on all the different ways that people believe that anarchy can operate and everything. It's more just that I feel like government or just governance, governing things, that occurs as soon as you want any little systems in place. Whether or not you call it the government, whether or not you call it politicians or anything, as soon as you want some sort of like, hey, we need to have it so everyone has what they need. We need to have it so, like, all these different things. Is it truly anarchy? I don't know. I guess I'm wrong, and it is, because there are definitely people that want this and everything. But I was just, yeah, I saw this post. It was just talking about, just breaking things down to the etymology, being like government means mind control and things like, um, I don't know. It's just, I feel like these people wouldn't be so, V for Vendetta if they lived in like Finland or something, And we deserve to be angry, and we deserve to speak out against corruption that's all over the place. But yeah, it's just like the way I see it. There are ways to like, democracy isn't inherently evil, and but there are a lot of evil people. And if you had anarchy, how do you? If there is no law in place, how do you? Yeah, you still need to create systems that have like punishment or rehabilitation, probably more likely, for people that do bad things, and like, because there are a ton of that. Getting rid of a system where, don't get me wrong, yes, we should actually have politicians that are not evil fucks. But having that occur doesn't mean that these people stop existing. It just means that they're sort of scattered about and everything in different places. Yes, I want a place that has true, you know, income equality and rights for all sorts of people. Again, I'm a matriarchal governance advocate. We need things to occur to where it's like, no, really, like, all sorts of people, helping things for all sorts of people. But yeah, and then there was just like the hashtag, like, oh, left and right. It's like both wings of the same bird. And it's like, I get it, but they're very different. Right wing policy benefits the ultra wealthy and ruins the planet, while you get the right left wing policy, it benefits everyone and the planet if things are done properly. It's just, I don't know. I was wanting to have conversations with people just to like sort of understand things more, because I don't have these. I've never been super into that idea of, or like gone down that rabbit hole of anarchy or whatever. Yeah, because I think democracy can be really cool. I think that matters when we have everyone have their voice heard. Everyone gets a say. It's like the majority rules. You have everybody gets to, and the good thing is most people are nice people that do want the right thing. You look at all the stats from things, being like, okay, how many people want this to happen? How many people want this to? It usually people are on board with what's ethical and what's just the right thing to do. So yeah, it's really, to me, it's more about how the fuck do we get to a place to where everyone has what they need, and to where, ethics, like real, having a moral compass, like, this is what's embedded in the culture, this is what's embedded high up, if you have a high up. Again, these people, there are people that don't want any sort of, hierarchy, and I get it. Like, yeah, like, that's not the right word, right? Because it's like, you really don't want some caste system, like demonic shit, to where oh, there are people that are more powerful in things, but we have to have some say. We have to have some sort of governance to where it's like everyone works together. Maybe I'm explaining exactly what a lot of anarchists want. Like, just like the right type of governance. Maybe not a government with politicians, but just like, yeah, people. Because that is how I am too. Even, yeah, with lawbreakers and things like lawbreakers, it's like, yeah, I believe in rehabilitation. I believe in, unless if you're, sexually assaulting people, doing like hurting little kids, or like just like a serial murderer or rapist or something like that. It's like, for the most part, yeah, I do understand that when people have their needs met, when everyone has what they need to survive, crime plummets. People aren't going to be doing these petty things like going out and robbing places or anything like that. There's no fucking need for it. Like, why would you if you have everything you need? I mean, of course, there will be some. There are some sickos that just get off on that stuff and everything. There will be some, but like, crime plummets when you have a more leftist approach and everyone's needs are met. You know, it really does. I mean, in a lot of ways. Again, there are still sickos that do sick things. That's the whole point. That's what I was saying earlier. You're never going to get rid of all the evil that is here in men and everything. And when I say that, I mean humankind, like, but, a lot of literal bad things do come from men, but, that's not, we're not getting at some bullshit gender war shit or anything. But yeah, a lot of the powerful corrupt all these people, the files, different things, and a lot of it's, but it is, a mixed bag. But, yeah, I really want to have conversations with people and understand more. Because when I say that, I'm not trying to attack anyone's character. I'm not, when I comment and I'm like, how would that work? I'm genuinely like, hey, I want to get to know you. I want to understand things more because I haven't taken the time to learn how everything works. It's just, yeah, I think so many of us are fed up with just all the corruption and everything, and it makes sense to have some sort of idea of like, okay, well, we definitely can't have this hierarchy of just evil, like pure corruption, just people just stepping on each other and all this horrible stuff. But I still think like democracy can occur, and yeah, I do think that there are countries that have sort of they like borrow aspects from socialism and things. There are places that are capitalist that are even not so corrupt and things that like lack the hyper capitalist ways of our country or of a few different countries and everything that like really have the sickness to where it's like super wealth inequality and super corruption. There are places that have like that hybrid economy to where it's like, well, yeah, it's like you're anti-capitalist and everything, like, but like look at this country to where it's like, but I understand there is still, it could turn into something worse, I guess. But yeah, I guess I'm not like a super duper leftist, I guess, because it's like, I'm more of like a Bernie bitch or something. Because I've seen it work. I've watched things and I've learned all about other countries and how they do things. And it's like, yeah, when you've solved homelessness and when you have like one of the happiest nations in the world to where it's like there is real income equality, people, like, everybody has what they need. It's just like a peaceful life to where everyone has what they need, and like it's like, but it's still capitalist technically. So it's like, I don't know how in with the crowd I am for leftism and everything when it's like, I don't know. I've never been a communist, I just yeah, I don't think it needs to operate that way to where it's like the government is here. This is not saying that's how it always is, but that's usually been how it is. Just being like the government's like, okay, this is here's all this money. This is everybody is getting you know. It's like sort of deciding and it's nice when it's guaranteed, when it's like everybody has what they need, but yeah. And I do believe that. Like people, that's not like people will still work. Like people have this idea of like, oh, but if you have if everybody has what they need, nobody's gonna, do their jobs and that's is that how you are? I don't think so. That's not how most people are. Sure, you'd be a lot more relaxed. You'd have a lot more time for your passions, for your creative outlets and everything. It would be really cool. That doesn't mean you're not going to want to do. A lot of people have professions that they're like, sometimes this is like their hobby is their job and they want to work their asses off, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, the grind culture it can be very toxic. So yeah, to have that equilibrium, to where it's like, okay, well, yeah, you already are granted, like, hey, you didn't choose to be born, therefore you deserve health care and food and housing and all these things. But yeah, like, a lot of these people are still gonna want to, like, do things to help out. Be like, hey, I want to help out others too. So it's like, keep this whole thing going to where everybody is, like, happy and healthy. That's kind of why I think that's kind of like the nice, left leaning sort of like democratic socialism, or some would probably say, social democracy. I don't know. It's like, that's really depending on like where you're at. It's like, a lot of times people use it as like a transition period towards socialism or whatever. And I'm not going to act like I'm some genius to where it's like, I haven't learned that much about these things. Basically, it's been like 10 years that I've been into, basically because of the insanity of Trump. I was just like, oh, I need to start learning about these things, you know? How everything, like the economy and human rights and all this stuff, like this isn't right, you know? So I was like in my 20s, before I was like, oh, I should really start understanding these things. But I haven't spent an awful lot of time learning about economic models and exactly the pros and cons and how everything operates. I've just seen certain countries where it's like, okay, I understand this much, and I understand like, whoa, okay, this is obviously working, and yeah, it could be applied to our country. We have a lot more citizens, a lot more people that would be helping out and everything. And again, Medicare for all would save money, save lives. It's just the right thing to do. Oh, but the waiting list and stuff. Yeah, it's like there are more options. More people will survive. Don't you think that's a better thing? You're going to make it selfish. You're going to make it about yourself. Well, I have this sprained ankle and it's like this person with cancer is getting in before I do. It's like, dude, it's okay. There are pros and cons to all sorts of things. But yeah, so I'm not like some hyper leftist or anything, obviously. I'm not like the leftist. I just I do see that. Yeah, the policy that we've seen from the right and the policy that we've seen from the left, it's not the same bird. You get very different outcomes. You get you either get something truly unnatural and just far away from equilibrium, or you get something so in tune with the environment, the ecosystem, and all sorts of inhabitants of this place. Very different things. So yeah, I don't know if you're anarchist, just like please like talk to me about this and like how things could operate, and if it really is, if it's not considered a government, if it's like a smaller scale thing, it's like different communities just fostering that community and having things for everyone, being like making sure that people's needs are met and that everyone is happy and healthy, you know. It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'd be an anarchist. Maybe I don't understand because, like, I just have it's been painted in my mind as something that's just, like, sort of chaotic or whatever to where, like, how do you make this work if there are no, real sort of set in stone laws and sort of groups that carry out tasks that make sure everyone is okay. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that can be part of anarchy. It's just, you know, again, in my mind, I just think, oh, nothing. Like everything is just free reign. Just people just, hey, just like do your thing or whatever. I don't know, you know? I like my autistic brain likes order and just things that sort of not it's not like I like oh these particular laws or whatever, but yeah, I just like to be able to envision something clearly and understand and have that routine of like this is how we know people will have their needs met and people will be healthy and happy and everything and that the majority will rule that what people really want is what's going to occur, because that's only fair. Anyway, I'd like to learn more. Maybe I should learn more. I'll watch some YouTube videos or something. I don't know. Anyway, love, I hope life treats you well often.